Hey guys, my name is Steve and this is WilmerWoodworks. Nothing quite says Christmas like a countdown to those panicked presents that you're gonna need. And in this tutorial and in this video, I'm gonna show you how to make this sleigh that counts down using these digits to the holiday. Easily turn these however you need. And thanks to Creatorally, well, this plywood company, they sent me samples of their colored plywood. So on this one, you can see this is just standard ply that I had to color with my paint pens. And on the inside, I kind of skipped a few little pieces, but this material is two-sided. So the entire unit is already cleaned up and there is no real extra steps needed to create a beautiful project like this. And what was nice was when they sent me the plywood pack as a sample, they also sent this. Now this isn't just telling you about the brand. On the back it tells you recommended laser engraving settings for the lasers that you're using. So if you're using a diode, I was using a 12 watt, so we'll go with 10 watt. 100% power, 7,500 millimeters per minute, one pass for the engrave, and then for the cutting, they were suggesting 100% power, 300 millimeters per minute. Now I moved mine down a little bit. I was around 225 and I think I only went around 95%. I never really like going to a full 100, but it was able to cut everything beautifully. And then simply after the cut, all I used was some of this isopropyl propylene alcohol. You use some of this alcohol, it cleans up all the char and you are ready to go. So I really appreciate them sending me over that sample pack, and I will also have a discount code for 10% off. So if you use that discount code when you use the affiliate link that I will put in the description below to purchase, if you want to try this sample pack out, it'll really save you a lot of time if you're going to be making a lot of these kind of projects. So what's unique on this project also is in the design. So you can't see any of the tabs. We made sure that we covered that all with these little pieces of trim. It makes it a little bit more polished. And I did the same thing on these cubes. So these cubes have this little tiny trim piece that hides all of those tabs. So I will go over to the computer now and we'll show you how I made this design. Now this design was made using the same elements we've been using for all of our other designs recently, Canva and MakerCase. MakerCase for the cube design, you can make your own cubes if you like. MakerCase just makes it a little bit more easy. And Canva. Now I have a Canva Pro, so it allowed me to download the SVG, but you can also do it with a standard image. Or if you want to take your shot at doodling, you can also hand draw that on an iPad maybe. So let's get over to the computer, we'll get this designed out, and then we'll get on the laser and get it cut.
All right, the first thing we're going to need to do is, before we even get into LightBurn, we're going to want to go over and grab some design. So this is just a simple clip art that we're going to get from Canva, similar to the way we've done it before. And you could just type in Christmas sleigh and see what comes up and see which one you like. And you can go through for hours searching at all of these different options. But I've landed on this one that I'm going to use today. And then you can also just type in Merry Christmas and see what kind of font you'd want. Now this font we're going to put right here, but I want to do that in LightBurn. So right now I'm just going to take these two elements, and since I have the pro version of Canva, I'm just going to hit download, and I'm going to change this from PNG to SVG, leave that as transparent, and just do my current page. Once that is downloaded, I can move over to the next piece. But before we go into LightBurn, I'm going to also want to make the boxes for our numbers. And it's basically a 6-sided box like dice. So we go over here, and the box that I made, I kept it simple with 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch, 1/8 inch material, and we're going to do close. Perfect. So that is going to be our box. And now if we hit download, we can see this is our box. We can add, if we want, the label. We just download this as well. With these two elements downloaded, we are going to pull these from our downloads folder and drop these directly onto our Canva. Now you can see that since I moved these as a SVG, they're a drawing, so they're not the greatest, but it's okay because we can manipulate this. So the first thing I like to do is I'm going to just draw a rectangle, and I'm going to start right about there, and I'm going to pull this down. And that's going to just give me the base so we can rotate this So when our sleigh is sitting on a counter, it is actually level, because that drawing was just a little off. And then we can delete this reference box. And what I can also do is just pull this up just a little bit, and we'll select all of this, and then we'll weld that together. Perfect. Now over here, let's see, these are all the same snowflake. So if I just delete this one and delete this one, and let's just group this one together, put this on this layer here just so it's a little easier to see. Move that over there. Now I like the way that this is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put little cuts here, little tabs. So I'm going to put a little shelf up here. So for now, we're just going to move this over. And let's see, I don't think we really need that. And I can weld these two pieces together. Just make sure that that looks okay. Yep, that's okay. So what will happen is once we cut this out, this piece will fit directly back on there. See how that is? That's just a little trim piece. And this, I don't like the way that that comes up to a point. I'm going to want to round that. So let's just get our little ellipse tool, and we'll just find a happy place over here to put it. Move this over on an angle, and now all I'm going to do is just modify this, zoom in a little bit, just keep turning it until it's where I want it to be. Now I'm looking for it to touch over here and touch over here. I think that's good enough. Now if I take our cut tool here, we're not touching all the way on that side. So let's rotate this a little bit more and try one more time. Perfect. Delete this, and that gets us the shape we're looking for. So we can't really group this together now, but what I found is if I make an offset and I set this offset very narrow. Okay, so this gets us the shape that we're looking for, and we'll hit Control D to duplicate that. And actually, yeah, we don't need to duplicate that one there. So this one, we're gonna just put on this red layer. And actually this snowflake we can put on the red layer too. Okay, so now this, let's just bring this down just a little bit. Okay, Control D to duplicate that, and we'll move this out of the way. And we'll take this and highlight this and our main piece, and we'll just weld that together. Now this is all one piece, okay? But now we can also cut this out, and then we'll just glue this on after. So we have our sleigh, we have our runner, we have our trim pieces. Actually, let's leave that right there for now, and we'll just grab our Christmas, make sure that is grouped together, make that a little lower, and just want this to be there. You know, you can put Merry Christmas, time, days till Christmas, whatever you like. And I will put this on just a fill layer. So now we need our tab. Done this a few times with our pumpkin boxes and our Halloween coffins and everything else. So we do 1.125. We can do 0.5 for half an inch. Let's see that. Okay, and we want that to be right there. Control D to duplicate. We want this to be centered because this shelf is going to be aligned. Now I'm putting this right here because it's going to be covered, because I don't really want it to be shown, but we can't just have a support at the top. We're also going to need one at the bottom. And then we'll just put one tab down here, and these are going to be individual tabs, so that doesn't matter if they're on the same level or not. So Control D to duplicate, and we'll just move that over there. And this will just keep it together when we glue it up. Let's make one more box, and this will be our shelf, and we're just kind of guessing on the size here. Okay, and then if we go Control D to duplicate, holding Shift ×2. Oops, gotta watch that roller wheel. Holding Shift, Control D to duplicate, select, oops. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to make this, we'll make this 1.25. Just move that up. Move this up, select everything, hold that together. So this will be the shelf that'll hold the two little counters. And now we just need to make one over here, down here. So we'll just make this a little bit wider than we need it to be. That seems to be a good width. Move this over here. And we want this to be 1.25. Nope, 1.25. Control D to duplicate, ×2. Control D to duplicate, center, select everything, weld it together, Control D to duplicate. So now we have one for here and one for there. And I'll just put this one over here for now, so everything is cut pretty close. And we'll put the other one right here. Okay. Now this guy here, we want to move over here, so that's one of our other cuts. And this guy. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have all of our elements. And the next piece to do is so that's our sleigh. We just need to do our box now. And let's keep with what we're working on, and we're actually hiding all of these joints. So let's hide the joints on the box as well. If we look at this box, This is a 1 by 1. So let's make another box that's 1 by 1. 1.001 by 1.001. Now is that the same? 0001. 01, 1.00. So now this box will be exactly the same size as this box. Perfect. So we want to have this as an offset though. So let's take our measure tool and see what this offset is. This offset is 0.1181. Okay. So we want to do an offset of 9. There we go. A little bit bigger than we need. Control Z. I had that on delete. I don't want to delete the offset. I want to keep the offset. Now if we hold shift and select that box, we have our little box. But let's add a little extra touch. So in this corner, holding command and shift, we can just drag that up and then hit control D to duplicate. And then holding shift, we select both, control D to duplicate. Now we select everything. Select these two, weld these together, holding shift. Go to our Boolean selection. We want the union. Holding shift, do the union. Holding shift, union. And finally holding shift, a union. All right, so there's 6 sides to a box, so we'll want to create an array. And if you have your lasers set on the set for optimization, the best thing to do is do 0 spacing, and this puts everything right on top of each other, so the machine will only cut and engrave once. The very final thing we need to do is add our numbers, and you can use whatever kind of digit you like. What I would suggest is first, let's just take a copy of this so we can see what it looks like. We don't want it to be too big, we don't want it to be too small. And then if you hold, it will change the icon of the cursor when it is centered. So I will number all of these, but once we do, we want 2 of these. So we're gonna duplicate that, and I will lay this out correctly on my screen. So I will do that, and I will be right back. All right, so now I've laid everything out. Now these are all the numbers for one of the counters, and then these are the numbers for the other, and that should get you all the combinations you need to count down to Christmas. I have these set up for a white board or a gold board. So this would be all of the items for the one color, and then over here, these would be all of the items for red. So these are actually the boxes, the sleigh and everything else, and it's all set up, and these are figured for a 12 by 12 piece. Now you can move these around if you like to try to optimize them a little bit better. There probably is a better way to do that, but this worked out well for me. So let's get over to the laser and we will cut this out and see where we're at.
All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that tutorial process. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments below. And also, don't forget to join our school community for a great resource of laser enthusiasts that are trying to start their hustle. And it's just a whole bunch of great people that have the same questions and projects that they're working on. So get over there. It's skool.com, and it is Laser Labs by WilmerWoodworks. I'll put a link in the description as well. So I am very surprised and pleasantly surprised and impressed by this material. It's 2-sided material. It cuts very well. Make sure though that you have a well ventilated area, because we always say that anyway. You don't want to be inhaling any of these fumes because the plywood has glues and stuff, but this material, it's pungent. So you want to make sure that you have your fans going, have it well ventilated. But look, it's double-sided. Just clean up any of the flash or the burning that you may have, and it glues well, it cuts well, and it looks beautiful when it's complete. This is ready to go, and this took no time at all. So I really want to thank the folks over at Creatorally for sending me this sample pack. And like I said, there will be a 10% discount code that I will put in the description, and I'll actually see if I can flash it on the screen here. Be sure to go over there, check that out using the affiliate link and that code for those discounts. And yeah, I really just appreciate them sponsoring this video by sending me this free material to try. And, we'll have more videos next week. Till then, thanks for watching.